Hello, Amplifiers. Excited to have you here today because we're going to be talking about some stories of transformation. And what I'm really wanting to put some attention to is how you can systemize transformation. See, a lot of times we think that we have to customize everything, personalize everything. And while people are different, a lot of the problems that businesses have are similar. So we can follow a process. We can follow frameworks to cultivate consistency. And when we do that, and we're following people taking new actions to achieve new results, we can have the best impact. So we're going to be talking about some cool successes, also some challenges that can be overcome, and discussing some amplifiers that you can put into your business. Our guest today is a rock star professional. She has definitely transformed her business, got into doing fractional CFO work. She's a business profit advisor and has the background with accounting and bookkeeping. Is so excited to hear her story of transformation. So without further ado, Natalia Zacharin, welcome to Growth Amplifiers.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Excited to have you here. Excited to hear a little bit about your journey. Before we get into the nitty and the gritty, just if you can give us a little bit of detail on how you got to doing what you're doing today. What brings you here? What was your story of getting to what you do today?
So it's a little bit unorthodox and some people might cringe. But I was a single mom working for a corporation, and I accidentally fell into the financial department because I was desperate for a job, basically, after my divorce. So I was an invoicing clerk and was doing really well there for a couple of years. And towards the end of my 6 years being there, the last 2 years, things started changing dramatically. They started reducing my salary and and I was working super hard. So my feelings were really, really hurt. I understand things differently now being a business owner and about value and about driving things. But they were reducing my salary. So I was lucky. I had just met a man on Bumble, believe it or not, on online dating. And we're still together. We're engaged now. And he had his own tax and accounting business. And I was looking for work, couldn't find anything. And he said, why don't you start your own accounting business? And that's how it started. And I had no prior experience.
Wow. So you jumped right in.
I
had a similar story when I started my business. I was working for an advertising agency and just kind of like hit the ceiling. And then the political winds changed there.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. So you knew, if not now, when. You jump in. And then what happens from there?
So I was actually, there's definitely some luck that has, it was the opportunity, right? The doors opened and I actually accepted the invitation. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that if this happened to me in a different period of time, maybe I wouldn't have been so successful. The reason why I was successful is because I was also desperate and I was tired of not being successful. So he sent me this course on how to start your own business. It's very similar, like Sam Ovens and like other courses out there. And I followed that course to the letter without knowing anything about accounting or a business or ever wanting to have one, and just figured I would do it on the side just to make some extra cash. And so I went through this course, and every time I followed it, it felt counterintuitive, especially the sales and marketing piece, very uncomfortable. You have to take action. You have no idea what you're doing. But if I followed it, I closed clients. And if I didn't follow it and ever tried to do it my own way, I wouldn't close clients. So I just started getting clients and then learning the bookkeeping on YouTube as I went along. And that's how it started.
Wow. That's really cool that you had that pain that you knew you need to get out of. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's what we kind of need, that kick in the butt.
Yes.
We're resisting and making that change because the pain of doing something is greater than the pain of not doing it, vice versa. So you were pushed into action, you take new actions, achieve new results, and you follow the recipe. Mm-hmm. If you tune into Growth Amplifiers, guys, you know we're talking about having systems and frameworks so you can get consistent results. And sometimes even skipping such a small little step that may seem insignificant, you're like, it's just asking for a teaspoon of yeast. Maybe we could use nutmeg. instead. That's not going to work. You got to follow a process for consistent results. So you did that, and then now you've transformed from just the basic, I'm watching YouTube to get things done, to now you're just rocking it with your consulting company. Tell us about that story of transformation.
Yes. So because I was forced to do my own sales and get good at it, and that was painful. Trust me, there were many times where I wanted to give up. There's many times where I felt like I kept going down to the bottom, and I'm like, where is the bottom? Because it felt like it was just getting worse and worse and worse many times.
Hello.
I was like, when people are like, well, when you get to the bottom, there's only one way up. And I'm like, well, where's the bottom? So it was pretty painful. But in that process of really learning to figure out how to close deals and get people to see value in accounting and bookkeeping, the same question started coming up over and over again of, I don't understand my numbers, or if someone explains them to me, I don't know what to do to change my situation or to make my goals. And therefore, I started looking into that and started reading more and started to learn more and started to transition the business more into consulting, and the fractional CFO piece was born.
Very similar path.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in my world, saw automation just changing where the value was being placed at.
Yes.
Back in my day, when someone needed a website, back in my day, we'd build websites to start off as a web designer and a marketer, and you'd build things from hand, and then you could just see it coming down the line. They're making it easier and easier. They're going to be giving this stuff away, but what can't they replace? And I share that because people in the accounting numbers world, there's automations that are taking over that basic checking the box. But what can't they replace easily that you have?
Mm-hmm. Advice.
Experience, right? Advice, helping people, and not just the factual knowledge, because you can ask AI factual knowledge, but being able to connect with someone personally, understand them from a human perspective, having that relationship, and then really helping them step into their true power, overcome their blocks, and cultivate transformation. So that's really a story of power. You mentioned sales is one of the challenges that you overcame, and I see that a lot, especially actually a lot of industries.
A lot.
And one of the things I advocate for is just reframing what sales means in your mind. If you think you need to push your products on people, you're going to push them away. Instead, you can consult, you can ask questions, understand, and then share. Mm-hmm. What has been the best way for you to approach sales? What is the aha moment that you had that started to go from this really isn't fun to I'm kind of good at this and I like it?
I think it was when I decided I didn't need to close anybody anymore, because after a while, once you start making money, your entire value, your mindset transitions from a desperate need to now I can bring value. And so when I get on a call with someone, I ask, it's basically a discovery call. I ask a lot of questions, and my goal is to really pinpoint what that problem is and to explain it to them. This is what you need, and this is what I recommend, because you are the expert, right? So I'm the expert on that call. And I even tell people, like, look, you don't need to buy from me. I'm not selling you anything, but at least you know your next steps. And if you don't want to buy from me, make sure that whoever else you talk to asks you a ton of questions and really understands your needs. And that's how I approach it. Is I sometimes even get on a call and say, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to see where you're at and how I can help you to take the next step to improve your situation.
I love that. If you're listening in, make sure you pay attention to that, because you are doing a disservice if you can help your clients and you don't share. If you don't understand their situation and you don't share how you can help them, you think you might be not being salesy, but you may just not be helping them. You don't push, don't need to be salesy, but share, understand the problem. I love what you're saying, Natalia, about asking questions, consulting, really getting to the root of their challenges, and then I follow a very similar process.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk people through, kind of share, here's some things that could be helpful. And if you want some help with implementation, we can have that conversation. And if not, that's okay too. But what's the other benefit of showing up in that way? What have you seen?
The sales resistance drops immediately. they feel understood, they feel heard because they do most of the talking. And they're explaining their situation, and sometimes even explaining that helps them to understand that there is a problem and they need to fix it. And then it shortens the time within seconds or minutes, because you have like 30 seconds before someone believes that you are an expert or not.
Really?
Within a few seconds, they understand that you are truly the expert in your field because you're asking the right questions. And that's the most important thing in sales, is asking the right questions.
I love it. Ask the right questions. People will tell you, where does it hurt?
Yes.
What do you want done?
Yeah, and they don't know they actually, most of the people that we talk to don't even know what their situation is. They don't even know what the problem is sometimes. They just know that they have pain. They know they don't have enough cash, or they know they don't have a good profit, or they can't hire the right people. They know there's something wrong, but they don't know how to fix it. And you're not telling them how to fix it. You're not fixing it for them, but you're explaining to them that there is a fix, and that you see them.
That's a beautiful approach, and I know you are an amplifier for sure. So now you might get the sale, and now you have the opportunity to really serve and cultivate this transformation. One of the other challenges a lot of people have is, well, I have all this knowledge. I know what I know. I can't necessarily afford to hire everyone with my level of expertise and build a team off that. Mm-hmm. How have you systemized your process in such a way that you are able to grow and scale without that constraining bottleneck?
So hiring is really the scariest thing, especially if you haven't done it before or you haven't done it enough. It becomes less scary. We have a process. I actually read the book Who by Randall Street and Jeff Smart, and that's a great process. And we follow that process. They have a scorecard. They ask specific questions. They explain in the book why they're asking those questions and what they're looking for. And we have a 3-interview process. We don't cut it short. And even if someone says, oh, I've got all these other offers, I don't care. I don't cut short my interview process because it doesn't serve me if I do. So if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And we still go through our process. And the process is a really quick 15-minute screening interview just to see if it makes sense for us to even continue. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I ask the question at the very end of that first interview of how much they're anticipating to make, what is their salary? What do they want? Because if they're completely out of range, there's no reason to discuss further. And also the candidate feels heard as well. They feel excited if they tell you how much they want to make and you continue on, right? So they know that they're in the running. The second interview is like a standard chronological interview. And then the third one is more of a technical interview and wrapping up with some other questions. And we do the full set. We also use some personality tests to see how they're wired. So I know a person that's wired to do accounting work is going to be different than a person that is on my sales team. They're not the same people. So you don't want to put someone that, yes, and they can't do the same things. You can't expect your employees to do more than one task just because you did as the owner. So you're an anomaly as an owner. You can do sales, marketing, managing. You can do all the things. Sorry about that. You can do all the things.
That was cool. I like it.
But you can't expect another person to do that. So you need to have a process, and you have to have very specific job descriptions and goals and metrics for them as well, and sell them on your company.
So that sounds like a great book. I probably need to pick it up.
It's a good book.
And I would recommend that too, because I do see and hear people who've maybe been too quick to hire, and then they've got somebody who can do some of the work, but they're not necessarily helping move the business forward. They're just kind of like getting stuff done. And there's a huge difference. Someone where you're having to pull with you versus someone who's just, maybe they're pulling you and they're helping move things forward. That's really cool. I need to check that book out. And I suggest if you're tuning in, you do that. And for people that are tuning in and say, hey, I want to be like Natalia. I want to take my business to the next level. Or maybe they're tuning in and saying, hey, maybe I could kind of use her insights into my numbers. Where could they go to learn more about you and what you do?
Sure. So we made it super simple. You can go to ZacharinConsulting.com/growth amplifiers.
Oh, wow.
And We have a couple giveaways. We've got 7 ways to find money in your business now, because even as some of the folks listening here might be in the financial industry, I still find that a lot of folks in the financial industry don't always know how to make the best decisions with their own money sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that. We've got also the ultimate checklist for a financially successful business. And then the last one is a call to action, where basically if you have a business and you need some help, you can jump on a free consultation with us.
That is really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I definitely encourage you to take action. You're getting something of offer. Don't just hear things. Check it out. And if all you did was get one idea that you can implement and get a benefit from, it'd be totally worth your time. And I'm sure you can get even more. So be an action taker, being an amplifier. All right. So we've talked about some great things. And man, I could be a chatty Kath and we can go for a longer time.
Yes.
But I want to be respectful to your time. Thank you so much. And one of the traditions we have of wrapping these interviews is if you could share something on your journey that may be beneficial for others on theirs. It could be related to business. It could be anything in life that you'd care to share. What's something that you'd care to share?
There's so much, but I think the one that I would really love to share is it's very hard to be a business owner. It takes a tremendous amount of grit, consistency, not giving up, showing up on bad days, showing up after surgeries, your kids, giving you hell. You're having trouble, your dog has to go to the vet, like just showing up on all the days. And when it's really hard and things aren't working out the way you want to, what I do is I look backwards at how far we've come. And I really practice a lot of gratitude because, hey, if you are able to start a business and run a business, you are in the top, 10% echelon of all the people, and you should be extremely grateful because you've got first world problems.
Thank you so much. I highly appreciate you. I forgot to ask earlier, so I'll ask it real quick. What are the types of businesses that you typically aim to serve? You might serve a vast range of businesses, but are there particular ones that might be a better fit for you?
We love all kinds of businesses especially for the bookkeeping and payroll piece, but for fractional CFO, it usually makes sense for anybody at $500,000 to $1 million and up. And our biggest clients are at 20 to 35 million. Our sweet spot is probably 1 to 10 million in gross revenue. We've done a lot of amazing things with businesses, and it's mostly because as an owner, you're being pulled in so many different directions that it's helpful to have a strategic partner that helps you to focus in on what's the most effective next step. And then service-based businesses, we don't really have a niche. We've built our business mostly on referrals and ads. And so we work with almost anybody, to be honest. And we're really, really good at it. And we can see a lot of patterns, which is really cool. Like being a fractional CFO for dozens and dozens of companies is really an edge to really see what's going on and happening in the economy and where things are headed. It's pretty cool.
Thank you again, Natalia. Appreciate you and what you do. If you are tuning in, think of one thing that you could take away from this interview. And even if you've heard it before, it's not what we know, it's the actions we take. And more importantly, the impact that we're making in the world. Take action, be an amplifier, and keep on amplifying. Thank you.
Thank you.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.